am Glaucia Rosas, co-founder and director at the EduTec Alliance. In this series of interviews, I am talking with key figures on the international EdTech scene to get their perspectives on how schools can really get themselves on track with their education technology.
Hi, everyone. Today, we'll have Bill Freitas as an interviewer. Bill is an experienced Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Officer in the education field. He's a certified education technology leader by COSN and a certified information systems security professional. After a distinguished career as CTO for top US schools, Bill now supports the EduTec Alliance in providing its member services. So today, we're going to tap Bill's vast experience and focus on his experience in protecting schools from cyber risk. Hi, Bill.
Hello, Glaucia.
So, Bill, I'm going to start by asking you the same questions I asked Ben Shore, the cybersecurity specialist at Microsoft, in his recent interview. So, what are the biggest cyber issues you see affecting schools today?
Well, those are certainly some big shoes to follow in, but I think for schools, we have a confluence of three things happening right now. The first is that the cyber criminals are getting much more professional. This is a for-profit industry now. There are companies, they have logos, people who show up for work every day, and their job is to make money. It's a regular business model. They have learned that schools, like others, like hospitals, are soft targets. And so they are looking to come after us. At the same time, they're getting way more sophisticated. This is not the old Nigerian prince email from years ago. This is absolutely looking like banks or colleagues or other groups coming right after you for that. That then combined with the work from home that was required by COVID and the lockdowns, that really spread out the number of places that people looking at cybersecurity had to keep an eye on. And I think the last thing is the trusting nature of schools. We're trusting people. We want to help. We want to do things. And so when we get emails that are asking for help or telling us something that we need to act on, we tend to do it because we want to be that type of person.
That is true. That is very true. So how can school CTOs or digital leaders make the rest of the organization's leadership aware of the threats that they're facing and how they need to be doing, what they need to be doing to protect themselves?
I think that one of the most important things is to get the school leadership to understand that it's not a case of it can't happen here or we are too small. Anyone with an email address is a possible victim. We can think back to a few years ago, all of those hospitals who were getting hit by ransomware. The same thing could happen to our schools, and we could lose data about our children, our students, the people that we are supposed to be safeguarding. I think that one thing that tech people can do is use data from the Microsoft or Verizon incident reports and share it with their leaders. But it's going to be very important not to speak tech, but to talk the same language as your head or your principal or your board member. We need to talk about things like the reputational damage as well as the financial damage and really steer clear about the need for firewalls and things like that. Finally, most of the governmental organizations around the world, the US and the UK specifically, have said, schools are now targets. You need to pay better attention. You need to do better. That information alone should get you into the principal's office for what's going to be a difficult talk, but one that needs to happen.
Very, very good tips from the inside of the schools. So has the pandemic highlighted any aspects of cyber and data protection risks for schools?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it was hard enough for us just to secure the network that we had on campus. Now we've got hundreds of little networks, each one in a person's home, a person who's probably not all that aware or interested in cybersecurity. It increases the attack surface, as the cybersecurity professionals would say. the use of VPNs and remote desktops have often been the way that the hackers are getting into the systems. Yet these are the exact same tools that we've told our users that they need to use from home. But if we're not keeping them patched and updated, and if our users don't have strong passwords and are following basic cybersecurity hygiene, they're not going to help us at all.
That is so true. So on our research, I constantly read that good cybersecurity management has less to do with technology and everything to do with human behavior and leadership. I see you agree with that, right? Because you're mentioning that every email is a possible way to be attacked. So how can you explain this further?
Absolutely. We've begun to refer to this as the human firewall, meaning that our users could be our weakest link, or they could be our strongest asset in protecting cyber criminal events from happening. Really, the difference between that is just a little bit of training and a little bit of awareness on everyone's part that they need to be more vigilant, more diligent. 80 to 90% of the cyber breaches that are happening now have been attributed to human error. Basic mistakes like clicking on the wrong link or typing your password into an unsecure dialogue and allowing people access into the system.
Oh, yeah. This might be a whole new world to many school leaders who have been traditionally focused on education and people management. Now they also have to master education technology, data protection, and cyber risk. So could you give them some advice to overwhelmed school principals in that sense?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I would say is that cybersecurity is a team sport. It's not just your IT person. It's not just your CTO. Everyone on campus, and even those outside of campus who have access to the school's resources, data, networks, they need to be considered as part of the overall protection that's going on. What principals can do, I think, is use that management and people skills to be an advocate and a champion of cybersecurity, particularly in terms of training, particularly in terms of awareness, making sure that everyone on campus knows that it's their job to help keep the school and our students and our data safe. The other thing that they can do is maybe get a little bit of increase in budget for cybersecurity. We could always use a few more resources to help us out there. But being a champion and being right out front about it and saying, this is not just IT, this is all of us, is really the most important thing that those leaders can do. Let's play to their strengths. Let's have them manage the people in the direction that provides a safer campus for us all. All of that said, it doesn't need to be overwhelming. There are 3 or 4 things that schools can do that will stop something like 90% of attacks in their place. One of them is using multi-factor authentication on your email. This is something that a lot of people don't want to do because it takes either another device or extra time or things out of their time out of their day. But if you've got the highest level of your school's leadership saying, we all need to do this, then they will go along with it. The same thing with increasing their password strength and things like that. The other thing is to remind everyone about the value of the data that they are accessing every day, and to be thinking about how they should be looking at that data as yet just one more aspect of the safeguarding that they have to do to take care of the students who are in their charge. So I think it's not overwhelming if you look at it from those small steps, which will help protect the school from the vast majority of incidents that are happening.
And this is fantastic, Bill. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your expertise. And you've been in the school for so long, so it's great to hear practical advice from you. So thank you very much for contributing.
Thank you for having me.